It's Tuesday, April 8th.
I'm worried, but I'm trying to be zen and I'm on vacation.
Keeping an eye on the markets is painful for many investors right now, but signs this morning point to a break from all those red numbers.
We need a new conservative government for a change.
He doesn't like us so much. He will never say that.
And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There may be some tough days ahead.
Campaign messages. The Conservatives and the Bloc take aim at the Liberals. This as Mark Carney keeps the focus on uncertainties with the U.S.
Okay, Jag's done. Lots of runners.
Dramatic arrest. York Regional Police sharing this video of their takedown and arrest of 5 people connected to a home invasion in Richmond Hill. And Meredith Gaudreau, Johnny Gaudreau's widow, sharing their 3rd child has been born. Carter Michael Gaudreau was born last week, and his mom says he looks just like his late father. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Good morning, Canada, and welcome to Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Lindsey Deluce.
I'm Kelsey McEwen. Hope your morning is off to a great start.
I drove through a snowstorm this morning. It's April the 8th.
It's April. I know, and the fact that we're talking lake effect snow this late in winter, early in spring, it just shows how odd this winter has been.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Western Canada, it was like 22 degrees yesterday in Lethbridge. Wow. Yes, so very different stories happening.
Yes, which I know that we'll talk about in detail coming up in a bit, but let's start with the market story because markets are showing some signs of life this morning as investors catch their breath, right, from another volatile day of trading. Most major markets across Asia posted gains this morning after seeing massive sell-offs. It's a similar story in Europe, where major indices edged up at the open. Wall Street is seeing green for a change in pre-market trading. Dow futures are up 730 points. NASDAQ futures up almost 300 points. But, you know, all of this volatility, I mean, it makes it really hard for investors to look at their portfolios.
I'm not trying to look. It's going down pretty bad.
Are you worried?
Yeah, definitely.
I checked my son's RESP, and it was down a little bit, thanks to the Orange Man.
Hard to stay calm, right, when the markets are moving so wildly. For example, the Dow was down about 1,700 points yesterday, then spiked to 900 points up, all reacting to a rumor that U.S. President Donald Trump was considering a pause to tariffs. The White House called it fake news, and stocks fell again. The Dow closed the day about 300 points down. The TSX has lost about 10% of its value since last Thursday. Beijing is responding to U.S. President Donald Trump's latest threat of 50% additional tariffs on all imports from China.
我要再次强调，贸易战、关税战没有赢家。
A foreign ministry spokesperson says trade wars and tariff wars have no winners. He also says China will, quote, fight to the end. President Trump says 50% additional tariffs could come tomorrow if Beijing doesn't withdraw a 34% tax on American products that it announced last week. Those tariffs are due to kick in on Thursday. Auto workers in the Windsor area have endured plant closures, bankruptcies, and layoffs before, but they say this time it feels different.
With this is, it's almost someone deliberately saying, hey, like, look at me in the schoolyard. I'm the big bully. This is what I'm going to do.
This is day 2 of a 2-week shutdown at the Stellantis Windsor assembly plant. About 4,500 workers are temporarily laid off. Parts manufacturers in the region are feeling the effects of auto tariffs. One local union saying between 2,300 and 2,500 auto parts workers were laid off as of Monday. Stellantis says its assembly line in Windsor will resume the week of April 21st, but workers are pretty concerned about how many shifts will actually be available. To the campaign trail now, the Conservatives are promising to build energy infrastructure quickly.
One desk called the Rapid Resource Project Office will handle all regulatory approvals across all levels of government.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says his government would speed up projects with what he calls a one-and-done approach to approvals. What does that mean? That means one application and one environmental review for each project.
These people are on fixed incomes. They don't, in general, have the ability to work. And this boost will help them to weather the storm.
On a day of market volatility caused by the tariffs, Liberal leader Mark Carney offered more support for seniors, and that includes a one-year boost to the Guaranteed Income Supplement.
We're going to double the Housing Accelerator Fund and make it permanent. We're going to call it the Canada Homes Transfer. I want you to know,
NDP leader Jagmeet Singh stayed on the topic of housing with a promise to build 3 million homes by 2030.
I think he does not give a damn. It is a problem for him to be forced to try to speak French, and he doesn't like it, and he does not really understand.
Bloc leader Yves-François Blanchet took aim at Liberal leader Mark Carney by questioning his commitment to Quebec language and culture. The comment comes as the Liberals are gaining support in Quebec at the expense of the Bloc. Health officials in New Brunswick suspect tainted fentanyl may be the reason behind a recent spike in overdoses.
Our crews get talking to folks that are on the streets, and they're hearing that there's some bad drugs that are happening around the city right now.
The Moncton Fire Department says they responded to 13 overdose calls from 7 in the morning Saturday to 7 in the morning on Sunday. One person died. They usually respond to around 10 calls during a 24-hour shift. The executive director of New Brunswick's only overdose prevention site says there may have been as many as 28 overdoses in Moncton on Saturday. York Regional Police have shared some dramatic footage after 5 people were arrested during a home invasion in Richmond Hill. Look at this.
Go, take the beamer. Get in there, right on top.
So this is helicopter footage, obviously, showing police boxing in and then chasing the suspects down in Mississauga. This is Saturday. The suspects took off running. You can see them there. Police tracked them down with the help of the K-9 unit. The suspects are connected to a home invasion March 18th, where 3 masked men forced their way into a home, demanded car keys before doing that, reversing the car out through a closed door. 4 men and a youth have now been charged with multiple offenses. 3 of them were wanted by other police agencies as well. Some sad news this morning. Broadcaster and former NHL goalie Greg Millen has died. The NHL Alumni Association broke the news on his death last night. Millen spent 14 years in the NHL, playing for Pittsburgh, St. Louis, and Detroit. As a broadcaster, he covered huge events like the Olympics, the World Cup, and of course the Stanley Cup final. Greg Millen was 67 years old. Meredith Goudreau, the widow of former Flame star Johnny Goudreau, has announced the birth of the couple's 3rd child. She shared that Carter Michael Goudreau was born on April the 1st. There he is, he's beautiful. Meredith says Carter shares a middle name with his dad, and I find this absolutely incredible. So baby Carter, excuse me, weighed 8 pounds, 3 ounces, was 20.5 inches long. That is exactly what Johnny weighed when he was born. Same length as well. Meredith says he looks exactly like his daddy, too. Johnny Goudreau and his brother Matthew were killed by a suspected drunk driver in August. They'd been cycling on a rural road the night before their sister's wedding. April showers bring cherry blossoms. Check out the sea of pink in the German city of Bonn. Oh, that is pretty. The trees were first planted in 1980 as part of an urban redevelopment program. The largest cherry blossom festival actually kicks off next week in Berlin. It's called Gardens of the World. Oh, to be on this street.